Imagine being forced to live in a place where you were uncomfortable forever.
Yo, what's up?
Zoos, while being some of the world's main tourist attractions, are also prisons for many different types of animals. The Berlin Zoo has been imprisoning helpless animals since 1884 for the mere amusement of its 3 million visitors each year. Tiergarten is hard to miss when in Berlin. It is one of the city's main areas, attracting tourists and locals alike to enjoy the traditional German food and bustling atmosphere. A short walk from the Philharmonic, large crowds are drawn to its nightlife scene weekend after weekend, making it extremely crowded and highly populated. This is not an ideal location for an open zoo. But despite disturbing construction sites and loud city environments, the Berlin Zoo was constructed, covering almost 90 acres of the Tiergarten. It's almost impossible to miss with its many entrances and advertisements. The zoo has become such a major part of the city that a bus stop was made exclusively for it. While boasting bright colors and inviting ads, the zoo itself is everything but. Animals such as monkeys, cheetahs, anteaters, and polar bears are all silently suffering behind the thick, noise-proof walls of this renowned tourist trap. It has been proven that larger cats do not live well in a confined, isolated environment. They grow lonely and are forced to suppress their hunting instincts. This builds up stress within the animal, often resulting in strenuous pacing around the cramped cage. When an animal is pacing, it's not good. The animal is extremely unhealthy. Similar to cats, larger monkeys struggle when separated from a group. They tend to thrive amongst their families, interacting frequently with siblings and parents. Orangutans, when isolated, become bored and depressed, moving at an increasingly slow pace, often showing little motivation in their actions. Joey Teodosio, a student in environmental science and theater studies at Emerson College, described to me what he saw during his visit to the Berlin Zoo.
He was able to see that the bigger animals like the elephants and the gorillas and the big cats were clearly not doing well because A, you could just see it in their eyes. B, if you know anything about those animals, you know they need wide open spaces to roam. They don't do well in enclosed spaces, and it's been proven. I don't know, it was interesting because I got to see all the different tropical birds and that was really nice, but then I also saw the wild cats going absolutely inside of their enclosures, for lack of a better term, because there were like little 5-year-olds pounding on the glass and it just wanted to get out, and that was really depressing.
One event that resonated with Joey during his visit to the Berlin Zoo was witnessing an ill leopard crying out for help inside its cage.
I wanted to leave and like forget about it, but at the same time I just felt like really pissed off and like I wanted to like I wanted to go full on Madagascar and just set all of the zoo animals free and just cause a stampede through Berlin, but I couldn't do that.
Perhaps the streets of Berlin would be a cleaner environment than the zoo's dirty cages. Cage floors were covered in urine and rotting food. Many were overcrowded, forcing animals to restrict their movements. Outdoor animals like deer and elephants were forced to roam amongst wood chip shavings, car emissions, and construction. Conditions were much less than ideal and barely sufficient. The animals at the Berlin Zoo are fed fresh food that is prepared shortly before feeding time. Monkeys that live in zoos, however, require a specific type of feeding procedure. Because of their high intelligence levels, their food cannot be given directly to them. They must be forced to use their intelligence and instinctual skills to retrieve their food. This prevents them from satisfying their boredom by causing mischief. At the Berlin Zoo, feeding was extremely underwhelming. Food was tossed into the cage without any interaction with the animals. Kiana Maynard, an Emerson student, attended the Amsterdam and Warsaw zoos recently. She explained her experiences to us.
Well, my favorite animal is the lion, so I was really excited to see the lions. I also got to see lemurs. They had a free roaming lemur section in one of the zoos I went to, so that was really cool to see. I always think it's a bittersweet experience going to the zoo, just because I love seeing animals. I love animals and going to see them and everything, but I hate seeing them in cages. So it's kind of what do I value more? So obviously I'll go to the zoo, but then I feel bad because they're in these cages and they're not able to roam free. So obviously if they're not being saved from anything, I wouldn't want them to be in the zoo. So I don't like that they have these large animals in the zoo and they're not surviving the way they should be. What surprised me actually was going to the zoo, the barriers to the animals was a lot closer than I was thinking they would be. For example, when you saw buffalo or something, the enclosure was actually really close to the people. And
That's cool.
in America you would have barriers that was
Really?
10 feet
Yeah.
away, you have 3 fences in between, but they just had one little fence, and I was oh, this is weird. Either they really trust the animals or they really trust the people, but it seems everything had been working well, and that was really cool to see.
Though zoos continue to bring in large crowds of people, many of them are unaware of the abuse that these animals suffer by remaining captive at the zoo. Some animals, such as birds, do fine while living in an enclosed environment. However, for larger animals, being trapped in a cage can resemble the feeling to being trapped in an elevator. No one should have to live this way, but unfortunately zoos continue to thrive. For Emerson College, I'm Melanie Klusnick.